I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. Man, do we ever live in good times, especially if you're a fan of cars. On one end of the spectrum, you have super high horsepower cars now, 5, 6, 7, even 800 horsepower right from the dealership with a factory warranty. That's crazy. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have cars like we have here today. This is the 2017 Chevrolet Bolt, the newest electric vehicle from Chevy. It has the longest range in its class, and this week we're going to see if this Bolt is right for you. On the front end, you have some nice LED light treatments. Along the side and on the top, you can see this has a kind of a floating roof effect, kind of the same as you would find like on the Nissan Maxima or the Lexus RX. This one is equipped with 17-inch wheels, and normally I'm not a fan of electric vehicle wheels because they mainly try to make them really aerodynamic, which doesn't make them look very good. These ones are very stylish. The back also gets stylish LED light treatments that blend very well. Overall, it's a very cohesive design, and it really doesn't scream, look at me, I'm an electric car. Of course, there are telltale signs like there is no tailpipe, and instead of a fuel filler, you have a charging port. Now let's talk about that charging port. You have a regular 240 volt hookup as well as a DC fast charger hookup. And here's one little issue that I have is it does not lock the cable in like some other manufacturers have on their EVs, meaning someone could actually walk by and pull out your cable while you're charging. It does have an alarm, so when that does happen, your car's horn will beep, but really, who wants to wake up in the middle of the night to go and plug their car back in when it should really have a lock? How much cargo room is there in the back of the Bolt? Well, let's have a look. Open up the hatch, and what you have is you have a flat floor, but this panel tilts. So first of all, you can tilt it up and it can just hold there so you can place things underneath the panel. It's a good place to put your charger maybe. Below that, there is nothing. There is no spare tire on here, but on a stroller like this, full-size stroller, you can actually put the panel all the way to the bottom so you have more space. And this does fit. It's kind of tight in width, but I could take the wheels off, and you do have a little bit more room. So that's how much room it's got. Onto the inside of the Chevrolet Bolt. Right away, you get a big, huge screen staring at you right in the center, almost in a floating console, 10.2-inch screen. You can configure it however you want. It's very, very intuitive. You have that home button. Also, you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This does not have navigation, so you have to use your smartphone, which most people have anyways, and that's really all you need. Everything here is on the screen. You have your media, you have all the information of your last charge and your vehicle settings, your time, and your phone. In behind the steering wheel is an 8-inch screen, and that is also configurable, and that houses the most important thing, your range, basically your fuel meter. And overall, you have a very spacious, airy feel, lots and lots of headroom, nice flat floors, by the way, because this is a purpose-built electric vehicle. It wasn't a vehicle that was a gasoline version and converted to an EV. So you have a total flat floor since the batteries are completely flat in the front and the back. You have a storage area in the front. This is the top of the line model, so it has all the bells and whistles, 2 USB ports, heated seats, heated steering wheel, upgraded stereo. You even have wireless charging for your cell phone if your cell phone is equipped with that feature. Also, it does have a backup camera as well as a bird's eye view that goes onto the screen when you put it into reverse. Now here's one of the best features, and I'm hoping to see this on more vehicles in the future. This comes right from the Cadillac brand, from their CT6 when it came out. And that is, you have a regular rear view mirror, and with a flick of this toggle, it turns into an HD rear view camera basically, but it's not the same camera as you have on your 10.2-inch screen. It's a completely different camera. It has a different field of view. And what's so nice is that you're not just seeing headrest like you see in your mirror, you see a much wider point of view, pretty well eliminating all blind spots. There are more and more EVs coming out, And this is the second one I've tested in a month's time. The first one was the Volkswagen e-Golf, and in a couple weeks I'll be testing the Ioniq from Hyundai. And it's great being able to test them back to back to really see the features and benefits that each one has, because it's not just all about range. Take, for example, the interior of this. Although it's spacious, I do like the design, it looks great, but there's a couple things. Number one, the materials. If you can hear that, that's all hard plastic. And ask me how I know, or ask my knee how I know when I banged this center console with it. It's hard stuff. If you look and compare that to the Volkswagen e-Golf, well, that uses the Golf's premium interior. It's almost Audi-like, and that's more traditional. It really does have a lot better feel in your touch points. And the next thing, when I'm getting into the vehicle, where your thigh is, you have this hard plastic, and either the plastic should be lower or the foam should be higher, but it really digs into your thigh when you're getting in or out of the vehicle. And the same goes for the side bolsters. So you can feel them or hear them here. They're hard, and it's like a hard frame. So even if you're going back and forth or you're leaning over to see the kids or something, it's gonna dig in and it's not very comfortable. I'd like to see that improve just a little bit. As for the back, plenty of room for 2 car seats. You got a nice flat floor. This one's equipped with heated seats as well, and you get 2 USBs in the back. All right, we've unplugged the car. We are fully charged, ready to go. Hit the start button, it comes alive. That's all there is to it, and that's what I love about electric vehicles. You basically just start it and go. There is no warming up, nothing. So it shows that we were fully charged with a range of 325 kilometers. Now there is a max range and a minimum range as well, and let's talk about that first. The max range, well, that's in the optimal conditions, and you pretty well have to have all the stars aligned to get that, just like a gasoline vehicle, much like that. And then the minimum, well, that's a good number to go by because you know you're probably gonna get that for sure. Right now it's showing it's well over 200 kilometers for the minimum. Let's just take it for a drive now. Oh yeah, it really goes. What's powering it? 150 kilowatt electric motor, and that's about equivalent to 200 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. And of course, with an electric car, that's what you really notice is that torque. You just step on it and it really sucks you back. 0 to 60 time on this is only 6.5 seconds, which is fairly quick for any type of vehicle, regardless if it's electric or not. And that definitely is a lot quicker than the e-Golf from Volkswagen. So powering that motor is a 60 kilowatt hour battery, and that lays flat underneath the car, which is great. So it keeps the weight very low, keeping that center of gravity nice and low, improving handling. Now everyone's mileage is going to differ. It all depends, first of all, your driving style. Where you live. Do you live in an area that has a lot of hills? Are you doing a lot of high-speed driving opposed to city driving? And of course, the climate. You see, the climate control takes a lot of power. Right now, it's a perfect day. It's cloudy, it's kind of overcast. It's a little bright though, but it's not hot, it's not cold, and I can get away with not using anything with the climate control. As soon as I turn it on though, let's turn that on, my mileage actually just drops instantly. So it's predicting how much power it's going to use. Let's turn down that fan. And of course, if it's raining, I'm going to use the front and the rear wiper, which is even going to rob more of that electric power. Now here's a feature that was featured on the Cadillac ELR as well as the Chevy Bolt. And what it is, it's Regen on demand. So you can do regenerative braking on demand, and how that works is behind the steering wheel is a paddle on the left side. And it kind of works like a handbrake. So as I'm going along here, I'm coming to a light and I'm pulling the paddle. I'm not using the brake at all. I'm going to release and turn my corner. And while that paddle is being held, it's putting power back into the battery, giving you even more power for later use. With this Regen on demand, we're coming up to a light here, and after a while, with practice, you can essentially drive with one pedal, just the accelerator only. Of course, if you really need to stop right away, you're going to use the brakes, but it really refines your driving style. It makes you a smoother driver, and if you can predict when you're going to stop, you just pull that paddle. It's a great feature, and I'm hoping to see this feature on other EVs in the future. So what's the cost of admission to get into a Bolt? Well, it starts out at about 42,000, just over 42 grand, and it tops out in this Premier version we have here just under 48,000. So it is not an inexpensive proposition, but you really got to think of this. Yeah, it's a lot of money for really a compact car, but you are driving the future. And you know what? Whatever you pay for this car, it definitely costs more to make this car than what you're paying, because electric vehicles are just not up to scale yet. So this really is a car you could drive every day, especially with that extended range. We're going to enter the freeway right now just to give you an idea what it's like at speed. So the pickup, that's 80 to 124 kilometers an hour in that amount of time. Very, very quick. You can't complain about that. Wind noise, minimal, and of course, there really is no engine noise or drivetrain noise. You're just listening to the wind and any type of tire noise. And so the thing is, if you're in the market, which vehicle do you buy? Because there are more and more EVs coming on the market now. Sure, this has the highest range right now, and I'm sure other ones coming in the future will actually have more range as well. But right now, this is the top dog in terms of range. And where I think this matters, it's not for the people that are commuting long distances often, because that's not what an EV is for. It's basically to put your mind at ease. What if you're driving and you drive to a friend or relative's house across town or into the next town, and you just end up, oh, you're gonna stay overnight, and they don't have a charging area. Maybe they only have street parking, and okay, guess what? Now you can't charge that night. With the Bolt, no big deal, because the range is so good. If I owned it, I would probably still charge it every day just because of habit, just like plugging my cell phone in. But it has enough range that it's like driving a regular vehicle. Do you fill up your car with gasoline every day? No, so you really don't need to fill this up every day. You hear that? I squealed the tires. Oh man, these are fun to drive. You know, I love EVs because they work for me. I do a lot of short trips. That saves a lot of fuel burn, because the short trips really take a lot of fuel for warming the vehicle up, as I've mentioned previously. But it's not just about saving money on fuel that I like EVs for. Number one, performance. We talked about that great torque. I love it. I love the quietness of an electric vehicle. Of course, I do like, for a sports car, you do want some growl, but we're not always driving a sports car. But there's also the conveniences of having an EV. First of all the time that you save not going to the gas station, and the money. When I say the money, it's not just about buying the gas, because I don't know about you, every time I go to the gas station, I get sucked in from some flyers, and I end up buying some chips and some chocolate bars and some drinks. So it costs me money going to the gas station. This way, I don't spend anything. And then also the convenience of parking. A lot of places you get preferred parking with an EV, and you get to plug in for free. How cool is that? That's filling up your car. And then the third thing is the HOV lane. A lot of jurisdictions, you can now drive an electric vehicle in the HOV lane or the carpool lane with a single occupant. That alone saves so much time and could be worth buying an EV just for that, if you have a lot of rush hour driving. The Chevrolet Bolt basically leads the pack in terms of value when you consider performance and range in any electric vehicle available right now. So if you're in the market for an EV, I'm sure this one's going to be on your list. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.